Hello, welcome. Today you are listening to Dr. Sushma Singh in Unit 5 Modernization. We start our lecture with the topic Modernization and Globalization. The intellectual portrayal of modernization was as a political and economic proposition coming to the fore following World War II. It equated the intellectual, cultural, and technological advance of victorious nation as something that needed to be emulated by the poorer, less civilized people of the world. This is connected to the process of modernity, which was a project of global conquest originating in Europe. By globalization, we mean the profound reorganization of manufacturing, trade, and services within a globally encompassing system. It points to the phenomena identified interchangeably as a process, a historical event, or the end result of shifting ethno-techno, media, finance, and ideoscapes. Accordingly, it replaces the unwilling verb modernization because modernists and their opponents depended on model dualistic analysis such as central, periphery, north, south, first world, third world, developed and developing, etc. The concept of modernization was very much tied to the idea of recreating the world in the image of America and Western Europe principles and culture. More recently, discussions on globalization describe a process by which the world is becoming increasingly interconnected and unified, subject to the homogeneous and uniform processes of cultural unification. Characters such as the Michael Jackson or the corporate logos of McDonald's and the Nike are examples of the global awareness. Now let us conclude this unit. The similarities between the classical modernization studies and the new modernization studies can be observed in the constancy of the research focus on the third world development. There are important distinctions between the classical studies and the new studies of the modernization school. For example, in the classical approach, tradition is seen as an obstacle to development, whereas in the new approach, tradition is an additive factor of the development. With regard to the methodology, the classical approach applies a theoretical construction with a high level of abstraction. The new approach applies concrete case studies given in the historical context. Regarding the direction of development, the classical perspective uses a unidirectional path which tends towards the United States and European model. The new perspectives prefer a multidirectional path of development. Finally, the classical perspective demonstrates a relative neglect of the external factors and conflict. This stands out in sharp contrast to the greater attention to the external factors and conflicts bestowed by the new approach. Development in the changed context poses a challenge and at the same time presents an opportunity. This unit begins with an attempt to understand the process of modernization and the evolution of modernization theories. The unit goes on discussing how the theoretical position of postmodernism pose challenge to the sociological theories of modernity. We also saw how Giddens and others advocate of modernization theories defend their theories and why they preferred the idea of late modernity to that of the post-modernity. The unit sums up with an analysis of international shift between modernization and globalization. Here we want to close this lecture as well as Unit 5 Modernization. In the next lecture, we will discuss Unit 6 Liberal Perspective on Development. Thanks for listening.